Hello, welcome to today's video diary for Finding My Way with Pi, Purpose, Intention, and Emotion. I am Pi. And today I would like to curiously observe how I am feeling, which is, it's a combination of pleasant and uncomfortable. Is that a big surprise for anyone? um, so I, again, for the second time in like a week and a half, maybe it's been 2 weeks, but I skipped doing a video diary yesterday. I skipped a day. So it's only the second day I've skipped in a streak of I don't know, 149 videos or something like that. And my goal was to do daily video diaries, curiously examining my emotions and just seeing what we can learn from them. Just a personal experiment and personal passion project. And I'm noticing that I've had a couple of days where I've missed a couple of days. And I thought at first with the first one, I was busy and it was a weekend and we had a lot going on and I just ran out of time. And then by the time I got home, it was late. And I didn't do it. And then maybe I could say the same thing about yesterday, because yesterday was a great day. We went in the afternoon over to our friend's house, and the weather was warm and we got to hang out at the pool and we grilled food, or they did. They totally spoiled us, really. They grilled food. We all got to eat together. And then later in the evening, we got to sit around the fire pit after the sun went down and we just laughed and enjoyed each other's company. And it did my heart so much good. So it was a great day, but it got late. We got home, we didn't go to bed until around midnight or something, which is pretty late for me these days. So, feeling tired today, yet my heart is full. And then I got to go to lunch with one of my girlfriends today, and we had such a good conversation. And I just feel like she's one of those people who she always sees my heart. You know what I mean when you have friends like that, right? And so we had great conversations, very healing conversations. So I'm feeling the love, I'm feeling the connection of all of the relationships. I know for me and my personal values, that's incredibly important for my well-being. And I'm so glad we had this time. At the same time, I still skipped the video diary. Now, I'm not negative self-talking myself here, actually, which is good, but I am noticing I'm saying I ran out of time. But the truth is, I had plenty of time to do it in the morning, and I could have had I planned my time. And I even thought about it multiple times. And I didn't do it. And so I'm avoiding, is what I'm observing. And I'll be honest with you, I don't yet know how to articulate what I'm avoiding. Just that it's deep and I'm dancing around it, if that makes sense. If you've ever had some emotions and emotional reaction, simmering what feels like under the surface, sometimes for weeks, something's about to bubble up or you're ready for it, or maybe you tap dancing around it. Maybe just circumstance in your life is bringing it up because your body remembers emotions of the past and patterns of the past. And if there's something there in your life that you're experiencing currently that is familiar to or somewhat recognizable by your body, even if it's not the same thing, it kind of pops into this pattern, right? So I have been I've been poking at intentionally and purposefully for the purpose of healing and rebuilding myself after experiencing extreme burnout. I've been kind of poking at some pretty deep things for me. had a classmate say today, as we were talking, she said, we're all just the children we were, just in grown up bodies. So, all the, uh, I don't know, uncomfortable things, painful things, or even just beliefs we adopted about the world as we were growing up. Like they're all in there and they're clamoring and clanging around, and things happen that sometimes they flare and you get like outside of this window of tolerance, or like knowing how to handle something just internally. It doesn't mean the world is coming to an end. It doesn't mean like, oh gosh, we're in crisis, unless we are. Sometimes we are, but it's just well, that's up again. And sometimes there's deep hurts that we come across in our lives repeatedly, almost as patterns, not even necessarily consciously aware. And they come up multiple times because as we move through life, things move and things change, and you come across new situations you maybe not have been in before, and your body just has patterns from what you know. Okay, so I'm rambling, but all of that to say that I have a pattern, and I'm now seeing it from another perspective. And for some reason, it's real hard for me to face it. I think the feeling I'm feeling is fear of how much it will hurt to unearth some of these memories. I think that's what it is, that I have from my past and my childhood. Listen, we could have had the best upbringing, and mine. I had some hard things, but it certainly, I'm sure it's not the worst. Maybe it's not the best. I don't know. But the truth is that as a human, you could have had the best upbringing, and really nothing's truly wrong, but it doesn't mean that, or maybe I should say, you're still gonna have things that embed in you as a child, even if you had the best upbringing ever, that it will hit you later in your life as an adult, that you are going to need to heal from and take accountability for and responsibility for, and heal from it and bring it to your awareness. Everyone has it. That is just human. I have mine. And part of the process I've been going through with my career coach is writing my life story. I may have said this in a previous video diary. I'm going to tie all of this together here in a bow. There's a few different moving pieces and parts that are kind of converging right now. And I'm recognizing this pattern in me by avoiding the daily video diaries and talking about these things on certain days when I'm like, I feel it. It's simmering under the surface. I have this feeling like halfway between my heart and my gut that feels like a heavy, like sinking feeling. And it's in my heart. My heart feels like it's pierced, and it's in my throat. Like when you get a huge lump in your throat when you want to cry, and I start crying. And I haven't even talked about it yet. And I'm avoiding getting still to think about or talk about these things. So here's the convergence. First, I've been writing my life story and, talking about my history with my career coach, because we're going through this process of integration and understanding what's underneath for me and my roots and why I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about and where all of that comes from. Number one. Number two, I've been studying meditation in my master's program for happiness studies. And one of the things that we've been, one of the meditation techniques we've been talking about is loving kindness meditation. If you're not familiar with it, basically it's when you are wishing others well and you're wishing yourself well, and oftentimes with simple phrases like you're picturing a person or yourself and you're saying, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease, or some variation of that. So we've been working on that. I've been experimenting with doing loving kindness meditations. I love the thought of that positive wishing others and yourself well. But what I've experienced when I experiment with doing them, even just a short 5-minute one, guided one, is that for me, I'm utterly exhausted when it's done. It's like I'm giving so much of my energy into wishing others well that I deplete myself 100%. And typically in the loving kindness guided meditations that I've done, you wish others well first, 1 to 3 people before you turn around on yourself, and wishing yourself well is kind of how you wrap it up. And so for me, what I've experienced is my energy's so depleted wishing others well, by the time I get to me, there's nothing left. And that's the pattern that I don't want to look at. That's what I'm running from, because if I wish for me to be happy and healthy and safe and live with ease, it means that I can no longer run away from the things that hurt. And I don't know if anyone relates to this, if you've ever experienced really, really hard things as a child, how they embed in your body and in your heart, and sometimes in your mind. Maybe you even suppress some memories. Short sidebar. Look, Mom, I got a tissue. My mother said, Kara, get some tissues for when you do your video diaries if you're going to be crying. But if you suppress those hurts or avoid them, then they actually grow and intensify. And for me, what I'm experiencing that as is the thought of having to even talk about it or face it through this process of writing my life story and having those discussions with my career coach is so scary to me that I'm avoiding it. And the second part of the realization that I had about this is that I saw some patterns from my parents from another perspective recently that I realized I carried forward into my own life and, just kind of applied this pattern in my own way. But first, it's that when there are deep hurts, rather than go through them for ourselves, for our own healing, we find a way to numb it, avoid it, suppress it, bury it, that you don't deal with it. That's the pattern that I think I somehow interpreted. I'm not saying I'd love to extend some grace right now, because I truly have this grace in my heart. I don't think it was an intention. I don't think it was a conscious thought. There was no, I know my parents did the best that they can, and I love them deeply and have so much admiration. And also, I know my mom is going to watch this. I've said this to her face, but I'm so grateful for the choices that she's made. It has taught me a lot in my life. So I'm sure this is going to be emotional for you, Mom, if you see this too, but, and I'm sorry for that, but here's the pattern I saw. Dad was not whole. He had some broken parts, and he also didn't have the best patterns in his family to know how to deal with those in a healthy way. He only saw an unhealthy way. And so he numbed them, and there was alcohol and drug abuse. And that was not dealing with it. The hurts that were there for him, it was numbing it and avoiding it. And then for my mom, I saw her, what I thought at the time was handle it, but now I'm wondering, and I feel like I'm like an 11-year-old saying this, so it must be around that time for me in my life when I started believing this, that I saw her throw herself into caring for others, anyone she could find, any way she could do it, and seeking outside instead of facing inside. It's not a criticism, it's simply an acknowledgement and perhaps a new perspective, that there were so many hurts there that were too painful to look at. And I understand that feeling so well. I have so much compassion for that. And also my mom is a nurturer and caregiver by nature, and there's something, she does. She just gives and gives and gives of herself and depletes herself for others, and instead of turning inward, at least from my perspective sometimes. So it's like both noble and personally harmful at the same time. So the pattern that I recognized was, we don't deal with our own personal hurts. We do whatever we need to do to numb them or avoid them or run away. That was mine. That was how I handled mine. I ran away. I ran away a lot as a teenager. I put my parents through hell. And then when I was an adult, it wasn't under the guise of running away, because I was an adult. I made my own choices. I don't regret it at all. Leaving the state where my family was, because I met my husband and we've been married for over 20 years and have 2 beautiful children, and I am happy in this life with them. I'm so thankful for it. And I'm also acknowledging at the same time that I ran away, that there were so many hurts. I haven't even really been able to go back to my hometown without having to armor myself up and try to avoid and try to just shield myself from any possible painful thing that may pop up there from the memories and the experiences or sometimes the people, not always, but sometimes. And I couldn't even face it. But what I've realized is that it's not about them. It's about me. I can't face some of those things that were inside of me, or I haven't been able to until now. So I ran from them. And that's how I handled it. And I applied that same pattern that my parents did, just didn't know I was doing it until now. And so here we are in this space where I'm ready to, I write this in my daily gratitude journal, that I want to live life being who I am and trusting life and being my authentic self. I cannot do that if I avoid and run from the hurts. It's time to face them for me and truly learn then how to manage them. There is no making them go away. There's no fixing them. There's no making them disappear. There's none of that. It's quite simply integration of my full self. They are a part of me, and instead of running from them, which is avoiding them and suppressing them, and which makes them worse, then it's time to embrace them wholly and have little interventions for myself when I feel triggered, to understand, to become aware of it, and how to work through it for myself in that moment, how to identify it, how to understand it, and then not let it control me and my choices and my actions. So the last thing I want to say about this is, talking with I had a group meeting with, we call it the magical ladies. If you watch this, you know who you are. Some just dear friends, amazing group from my master's program. And we had one of our magical ladies Zoom meetings this morning. We all got to connect and catch up. And one of you shared, yes, there's this knowing yourself, and there's this difference between, are you in a quote unquote healthy, safe place, or a quote unquote unhealthy, safe place? And I realized that being in the corporate job where I was, particularly towards the end there, it had become my unhealthy safe place, because it was something external to me that I was using to feel safe and to keep me so busy that I did not have to look within and handle what was within. And then since I've left that, and my goal has been to be focused on whole person well-being and healing from burnout and integrating my whole self and doing work that I love, then I have to do this internal work too. And it's all coming up. So in order for me to find my healthy, safe place, I have to get my internal house in order, because the truth is, my healthy, safe place is something inside of me. It is where I'm grounded and I am whole and wholly accepting of myself. And it's something inside of me that I need to create. So then it doesn't matter what's going on around me, I can practice just returning over and over to my healthy, safe place. Because we're humans, we'll deviate. It's what happens. But the practice of returning is my goal. So I don't know if any of that made sense, but I was even about to take this as far as maybe I need to not do my video diaries on the weekends, but that doesn't feel right to me, because I know what I want this passion project to be, and it's every day. And this has been such a valuable lesson for me that one time with it not happening, cool, just roll with it. It's okay. 2 times in fairly close order, makes me raise an eyebrow a little bit and curiously observe it. And then that's what I observed. Wow, I am avoiding some of this, because as I go through this process with my career coach, and we are talking about some of the painful things from my past to understand what's underneath and part of what makes me me, that there's probably going to be some things that I need to curiously observe in my daily video diaries that I had been avoiding. Life is such a trip, y'all. There's so much life happening there outside of our bodies and all around us. And there's an entire universe inside of us going on as well. It's a trip. It's a trip. So hopefully some of this made sense. And if it didn't, I guess it doesn't matter, because it's my videos for examining my emotions. And that's what it was today. That's what it was today. I want to thank all of my friends and my family who have had discussions with me and helped me see some perspective on this through sharing your own stories and your own journeys. And we are all so interconnected as humans. The energy that connects us all is amazing. And it's like a gift when you share yours too, because it helps to unlock in others healing. So thank you. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope this helps you too. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.